everybody, it's Bree from homemadeonourhomestead.com, and today I'm going to show you how to grow strawberries. So I'm sure you guys all know that there is a ton of different ways that you can grow strawberries. For us right now, we don't have our final garden established yet. We're in the process of building our home, and where our current home that we're living in stands is where our garden is actually going to be. So we're not actually going to be able to have our permanent garden structure probably for about 2 years. So for now, we have this enclosed garden which houses our blueberry plants and all of our other plants that we want the elk, the deer, and the other wildlife to stay away from. So we had to come up with a solution to grow all the vegetables and the fruit that we want without the animals being able to get to them. For us, we put this garden enclosure really close to our beehive so that way all the plants are always pollinated and we have happy bees as well. So as you can probably see, the strawberries are planted in a piece of 4-inch PVC pipe. So I'm going to show you how I determined the length, the size of the hole that I drilled for the plants themselves, and pretty much from start to finish how I was able to do this in less than an hour and for less than $30 to do about 15 feet worth of strawberry plants. So right now I have some herbs that need to be planted, another row of strawberries, so I'm going to show you how to create this horizontal garden that can hang, that's movable, which is the best part, and how I can do it for pretty inexpensive. So let's get started. So after you determine where you want your piece of PVC pipe to be hanging for your horizontal garden bed, you're going to go ahead and measure that spot. Now the spot on the fence that I'm doing this next piece of pipe is 93 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece of 10-foot pipe that's 4 inches in diameter. I'm going to cut it down to 92 inches. So I'm cutting it an inch shorter than the measurement was. This is to allow to put the end caps on and to be able to remove the pipe for easy movement around my garden if I need to, or just at the end of the season when I want to empty out the soil and clean it out for the next year. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the pipe now, 92 inches long. Then I'm just going to take a handsaw and I'm going to cut that pipe. I've just finished cutting my piece of pipe 92 inches in length. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start drilling the holes for our strawberry plants. Now for the ones that I had done previously, each one of the holes is 9.5 inches from center to center. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure that on this pipe and drill the holes. Now this is a 4-inch diameter piece of pipe, so we used a 3-inch saw hole blade to cut the holes. So we found doing about a 1-inch less than the diameter of the pipe seemed to work pretty good. The reason that we went with a 4-inch pipe instead of a 3-inch pipe is because most of the time if you're buying pre-grown or pre-started plants, they come in the little pots, and when you take those out and try to plant them, sometimes the holes, if you drill them too small, the plants can be really difficult to get in there. So the 4-inch pipe with the 3-inch hole we found worked the best for us. I'm gonna get my tape measure, my Sharpie marker, I'm gonna mark those holes, and then we're gonna drill those. So I just finished drilling all the 3-inch holes into the pipe. Now I will say that this job is a lot easier if you have 2 people. My husband and I did these ones together and we got through it a lot faster, but my husband's out of town right now, so I'm kind of having to do this by myself. So it can get a little jumpy with trying to screw through the PVC pipe. So I have figured out that putting the end of the drill in between my legs so it can't jump around or spin, and locking the pipe in between my feet has worked great for me. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this by yourself, definitely get somebody else to help you. Like I said, it can get a little bit dicey trying to drill these holes, but after you do a couple, it's really easy to do. So now I've gotten the holes drilled. So the next thing I'm gonna do with a gloved hand is go ahead and clean up the edge of the holes that I just made. There's a lot of frayed plastic, so I go ahead and I just kind of clean that up. You can also take a little piece of sandpaper and sand it down if you don't want it as sharp. For me, it doesn't really matter. Cleaning it up with my hand seems to work just great. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now to all the holes that I just made. So all I'm doing is just pulling all the little pieces of plastic off and kind of smoothing out the edge with my leather gloved hand. So now we finished cleaning up the 3-inch holes that we just made. We took our gloved hand and we wiped around the ridges and really got rid of all those plastic fragments that were kind of sticking out, that were a little rough, and now the holes are all smooth. We're gonna go ahead and turn our PVC pipe over to the back side, opposite of where the 3-inch holes we just made were. Now this is gonna be the bottom of the pipe, and like I said before, usually on these pipes somewhere there is some stamping or some kind of indication of what kind of pipe it is, what size it is, and so this is going to be the bottom. This is where we're going to drill our drainage holes. So now on the bottom of the pipe, we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure every 3 inches. We're going to take off the saw hole bit off of our drill, and we're going to take a 5/16 drill bit, and every 3 inches where we have marked on the bottom side of our pipe, we're going to drill a hole. Now these holes are going to be for drainage. So I have found that doing a 5/16 hole, and then in between each one of those holes, I use I think it's a 15/64 bit. I drill a smaller hole. So essentially you have a hole every 1.5 inches all the way down the length of the pipe. This is just gonna allow for adequate drainage so you don't have to worry about your plants getting root rot or molding inside the tube. So you really want to make sure that you have really good drainage. Go ahead and I'm going to mark this tube every 3 inches and we're going to start drilling. So I just took my tape measure and a Sharpie marker. I pulled out my tape measure and locked it into place about 4 inches out. I took the tape measure and I laid it down on the pipe, and every 3 inches I took my Sharpie marker and I made a mark. This is where I'm going to use my 5/16 drill bit and I'm going to drill the holes. I just removed the saw hole blade. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this 5/16 bit and I'm going to put this into my drill. I'm going to go ahead and drill at each of those 3-inch markings all the way down the length of my tube. So I finished drilling all those holes. Now I'm going to take this drill bit out, put a smaller drill bit in, and drill in between each one of those holes. This is just going to make sure I have extra drainage. So the bit that I'm going to be using for this next set of holes that I'm going to drill is a 15/64 drill bit. So definitely smaller than the previous one. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill those holes. holes are all drilled. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the caps on the ends of the pipe. This is just to make sure that the soil doesn't come out and it keeps the water and everything inside. So before you put your end cap on, you actually might want to tip your pipe up to dump out all the plastic fragments that are in there. I usually have a bag or a bucket or something to empty these into, but today I forgot, so I'm going to make a nice little pile and I'll pick it up as soon as I'm finished. Okay, so by now you should have drilled all of your holes on the back side of your PVC pipe. There's a hole every 1.5 inches, again alternating the bit size, so that way you have a variation for drainage. The front side, you're gonna have your 3-inch holes. Now you can take one of your caps that you purchased to go on the end of your PVC pipe, and you're gonna put that on one end. Now there's multiple ways you can fill this tube with soil. I have found that the easiest way to do that is to put one end cap on, and the end that you put the cap on is gonna be facing down towards the ground. Then you're gonna take your organic potting soil, and keeping your tube kind of up at an angle so the soil goes down towards the bottom, you're going to slowly start to fill this tube. Then every once in a while, just tip the tube all the way up to make sure that the soil goes all the way down towards the bottom. Feel like your pipe is pretty full, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take that other cap and you're going to put it on the end. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take rafter fasteners and we're going to go ahead and we're going to hang these on the beam. Now there's lots of different ways you can get this pipe to actually stay up. If you want it in, we found that these rafter fasteners work really, really well for where we have these hanging. Again, because these are movable, it gives us a lot of options to move the pipe wherever we need it, and it makes it so they're not stuck in one place. Now, if you need to affix these to something, that is totally optional as well. These metal hanger straps, which is typically in the plumbing aisle of your hardware store, you can use tin snips, cut it the size that you need, and you can affix it with screws to the board that you want. Again, we have this as an option. It does get kind of windy here, so if it gets really windy and we feel like the pipe may move, we might use these just as a temporary solution, but for now the fasteners work great. So we purchased 3 for each length of pipe that we cut 72 inches or 92 inches long, and 3 seem to be okay. 2 would probably work as well, just 1 on each end, but we felt like having a little extra support in the middle was something that we wanted, but again, it's just optional. Now that we've finished filling our pipe with soil and put the other end cap on, we can go ahead and put our rafter hangers up where we want to hang our pipe. Then we can take our pipe, put it up, and start our planting. Need that oregano? Thank you so much for joining us on our homestead today for another tutorial. We hope you enjoyed this video on how to grow strawberries horizontally in an enclosed garden. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload a new video. Here on our homestead, we do videos on rustic living, food from scratch for a handmade home.